Hey guys, it's Morgan here at Highland Cycles. Just a quick video to show you how we changed the oil on our 2018 YZ450F. We're going to use the new Firepower oil from Western Power Sports. We're going to find out how good it is, but I've been told it's really good. It meets a bunch of Japanese standards, if you can see right there, the JAS blah blah blah. Anyway, supposedly that's awesome. I don't know, probably the other ones meet it too, but Western Power Sports actually spent the money to send their oil over and get it tested and make sure it meets these standards. So yeah, this is Stella, our rental bike. You can see, rent me right there. And yeah, we're gonna change the oil. When you're changing oil on a 4-stroke especially, always start by warming the thing up. That's real easy on this one. All right. So we let that thing warm up for a few minutes, get the oil nice and moving around and warmed up so it's going to come out easier. So here's the thing. A lot of other people are going to tell you, gotta take the skid plate. If you want it to be super clean, then yes, skid plate off, all that stuff. But here's the thing. Here at the shop, we have a pressure washer and an area to wash bikes. And it saves a ton of time if you can do this without taking the skid plate off. Because we got to wash the bike anyway, because this is our rental bike. And we wash all our customer bikes too, so why not blast off a little bit of extra oil? Also, our Enduro Engineering skid plate has a hole that gets most of it out anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and drain the oil, take a look at how it looks. 12mm bolt up under there. Definitely still get in there, even with the skid plate. And your hands are going to get messy doing it like this. Not too concerned. So it looks pretty good. That's after about 8 hours worth of riding. I try to change this thing between 6 and 10 hours. Kind of depends on the rental customer, what they were riding, also when it's going out again. And I'm not going to be riding this for any short periods of time anytime soon, but the next customer hasn't rented out for 3 or 4 days, so I would normally go a little longer on an oil change, but since it's going to a customer who might put a whole bunch of hours on it, might as well change the oil. So yeah, that looks pretty good. You can see here, see it on my hands, it's still actually looks not bad. The oil looks pretty good. Here's the bolt. Here's an important thing, guys. That right there is called a crush washer. That it helps this bolt seal on the cases. So when you take that off, a lot of times it'll fall out. Sometimes it'll stick to the case for a little bit and then fall out. Other times it just falls out and go in the oil and you don't notice. Then you slide the bolt back in, tighten it up, ride. It's never gonna like catastrophically leak so much that all the oil goes out, but you'll end up getting a big mess. So make sure you find that thing every time. Now, I think in the manual it says to replace this every time. This one looks perfect, so we're not gonna replace it. We're just gonna put it back on. To let that thing drain, this is different for the 18 and up YZs. It's got another little drain and screen on it. So it's kind of funky, and they generally tend to leak, at least seep a little bit. You can see right down in there, there's a 10mm bolt and a little plastic thing. So we're gonna pull that out. So that's what's there. It's kind of like a KTM. It's got an extra screen in there to help filter oil. Good thing to take out and take a look. We'll definitely indicate if you got anything weird going on, but this one looks nice and clean. Got a little bit of funky fuzz right there, but I think that might be from pulling it out anyway. So this is what makes the mess. You can see it's all over. Whatever. Again, we have a pressure washer, so these things tend to leak, kind of make like seep, It's because this O-ring, see right there, will get kind of flat. So I'm gonna replace that thing with a thicker, fatter O-ring that'll hopefully keep it from leaking. So there we go. You can see the difference. This little guy, the overall diameter is a little smaller, so it's going to stretch out and get a little bit thinner. But it's nice and thick, and hopefully it'll keep that thing from making a mess while people are renting it. You take that, put it right over here. And the thing about this is, if that's like doesn't work that good, just take it out. It's no big deal. You can put another one back in. All right, so now we're gonna put the drain bolt back in. It's kind of a pain with the skid plate on, but you can do it. Just kind of finesse it up in there. And time to put an oil filter in her. Little oil filter covers right here. 2 8mm bolts, super easy. And here's an important thing on this bike, any bike, if it's got a drop-in oil filter, which pretty much all modern dirt bikes do, pay attention as this thing comes out. Pay attention to how the oil filter looks as it comes out. First of all, you want to look at see if it's got any metal or anything like that, catch a problem early. But then also the orientation, because there's a right and a wrong way to put an oil filter back into a bike. And the best way to catch that is to watch the old one come out. So okay, as you saw, that thing fell out, so we really didn't get a good chance to look at it, but that's okay. There's an indication inside here of how they go. If you take a look at this oil filter, this is the old one. It's got a deep hole there that goes all the way in, and then a kind of a blank hole over here. So now let's look inside the motor. So if you see, there's like a boss right there that has to go inside this end of the oil filter. So this goes like that. Now on this motor, it's really hard to put one in backwards, but on some they'll go either way. And I can speak from personal experience with customers who've blown up XRs, an old XR 400, 250, 350, I think even 500. You can swap the oil filter around, and if you get it wrong, it starves the top end of oil and blows up the engine. Older YZs are the same way. So they take some forcing to make that happen, but I've seen it done. So we are gonna put an oil filter in it. I personally like high flow filters. There we go. High flow filter. HF140 is the right one for this one. They're really, really, really good oil filters, and they're inexpensive. I've never ever had a failure in all the thousands and thousands I put in here, and they're like $4 for this one. So take that guy, put it in. It doesn't like stay, so you gotta just set it there. Now with the cover, you'll see there's an O-ring around that, right? See the O-ring? Inspect that thing, make sure it kind of sticks out, it kind of bubbles out, so you know it's not gotten all flat and gnarly. Then as you go back on, you got to make sure you go on nice and flat, right? Because otherwise, if you cock it one way or the other, you can end up breaking one of these tabs off or cutting the O-ring. So we go on here, get it lined up, try to get that as boom, like that. There we go. Bolts. Go easy as you tighten them until you get them seated. Again, you don't want to cock the thing and break one of those ears off or cut the thing. Tighten them up just a little bit. I think the official foot-pound is probably 6 or 7 foot-pounds. If you've done this enough, you know how to not strip it. If you're not comfortable, get a torque wrench. All right, now we're gonna pour oil in it. Now, we get this question a lot here. People are like, how much oil do I put in there? And it's a good thing to know, obviously, so you buy the right amount. But honestly, all these motors are a little bit different. Everything's a little bit, there's all these nuances, like how much oil is in your oil filter, how much this, that. So the book is going to tell you the exact right amount, like if everything were clean and empty and you got all the oil out, or they'll give you an estimate as to like a normal change. But the deal is, every one of these engines has either a dipstick or a sight glass. So that's the important thing, is you want to make sure when you're all said and done, you got the right amount in your sight glass or dipstick. In this case, it's a sight glass. I happen to know that the YZs take just a little, about a liter, maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to pour a liter in, and then we're going to fire the bike up, get the oil run through the whole system in the oil filter, all its cavities, then kill it once it's warm, you know, warmed up, and we can look and see where it is on the sight glass and add until we're at the right level. Trying out the new Firepower oil. I have no opinion about it yet. This is literally the first bottle I've opened. And we're going to pour it in. Yeah, totally. So if you look right there, you'll see that that is all the way full. It's really clear, so it's kind of hard to tell, but it's all the way up in the window. Now we're going to fire the thing up, let it run for a little bit, and see where it lands in the window after it's warm and the oil's gone all over where it needs to go. All right, that's nice, warmed up. Turn it off. So, and the thing about checking oil levels is every bike's a little bit different, but in general, most bikes like to be straight up and down and not tilted back or tilted forward. That's the nice thing about having a lift like this. Obviously, not everybody has that luxury. Stands don't always hold them level, so you want the wheels on the ground. That's how they've got them set. So let's take a look, and looks like there, you can see it's all the way up in the window, so we're all good. Don't need to add any extra oil. And yeah, we made a mess, so now I gotta go clean it, but we're done. Oil change done. Most important part of your maintenance, honestly, is to get that done as often as you can afford, because that will save your motor, make the thing last a really long time. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what we do, subscribe to the channel. It means a ton. Get the little notification bell, hit that thing so that you know when we post new videos. Guys, have a great day. Spread the gospel of two wheels everywhere you go, and make sure you get out and ride your dirt bikes.